Okay, so I thought it'd be really easy for me just to do a quick video about the blended learning experience. First of all, I was very stressed about it. And I know it's just because of the new thing, but I was thinking, I know I was stressed during, COVID teaching, but this for some reason was not sitting with me well. Maybe it's because of my class sizes, and I'm not the strictest teacher, so sometimes that comes back to, bite me. So just wanted to say that I was sitting there visualizing me over the weekend trying to come up with not come up with the games, but to get the games ready from the lead4ward. There's a whole playlist. I had a copy of that and I thought, oh my gosh, I don't even where am I going to find the time this weekend? I still have my other position I do insurance, so it's like there's really not a lot of time on the weekends with the kids and doing the other position as well. I thought this would be great, but how am I going to be able to pull this off? And I know that we have these 10 plus days. We're doing our 10 days of learning, and actually my grade in 7th grade we have a little bit longer because our STAR testing dates got pushed back some. So I was thinking, wow, this would be really great to have all of these going on, but how am I going to get them? And I just had this light bulb moment, and I'm thinking if I can pull this off in just like 20 minutes literally of thinking about it, going ahead and putting it on the board, our objective, we're going to analyze the lead4ward playlist on my master copy, and each class is going to choose one game because I didn't want any of the games to be repeated. So each class, the minute they called it out, they got it. I highlighted it. They had, I said, okay, I'm going to grab some note cards. I printed a test release. Okay, so I printed the STAR test release 2018, and the only thing that I should have done that I am going to do is I need to print another one, because even though there was plenty of games to choose from, there's probably like 50 to 60 of them, literally, maybe even more, on just that one sheet, okay? So even though there was plenty of games, there was not enough stories, and, we have fiction, nonfiction, poetry. All of that, by the time I went through this with each class, let me back up. So each table, I have my class split up to where there's 4 in a group. I think one of the groups has 5. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 groups. So each class was basically 6 games. Some of my classes are not completely full, but give or take. At the end of the day, I had over 13 games ready to go. I put them in, each table got a folder. I'll list it out. Sorry, it cut me off, so I had to start over. So what you do is, it just takes a manila folder or any kind of folder that you have, put it at each desk. A few plastic Ziploc bags, or like I said, if you don't have that, you can actually get another folder, staple the sides. There you go. Some note cards or paper, okay? That's all accessible to all of us. Some of the kids, if they have colored pencils and stuff, that'd be great. Maybe a few pairs of scissors, one's fine, whatever you got. Stapler. Print a STAR release, or if, say, you want to do this in your classroom with not using the STAR, print anything, any kind of reading passages that you've done. Even the art teacher, y'all could print some stories about different artists, whatever. Any class, any subject can do it. So each table would say, okay, here's the game we're going to choose, and I would have one. So they have a computer. If they do not have if you don't have computers in your room, then you can use a panel, or the teacher could use their laptop and let each group have a chance to get on lead4ward and actually click on. You go to lead4ward instructional strategies, and then it's going to come up, and then all the little links are within each game. And when you click on it, you could literally screenshot that, go print that, give it to them. It has the directions. So they would actually not even have to do their instruction card, but I had mine do it. I had them actually write out the directions because I wanted them to actually internalize it, right? So we had one researcher, one did the directions, another one designed the front of the folder with everybody in their group, and then they put what game it was and what passage it was. So the second step was I passed out different copies of the star passages. I also gave them 18 to 20 copies of the answer key, so each group could have an answer key, okay? And for each class, okay? Remember, they're all choosing a different game. And then the star passages, or whatever passage you're choosing from, you give each group a different passage. One could be on poetry, one could be on fiction, one could be on nonfiction, whatever it is you're doing, whatever subject you have, mix it up. So that table was responsible for knowing anything and everything about that game, because they're going to be the leaders, okay, whenever they play. So if they chose 4 corners, for example, one of them was, after they read the directions, they all split up the work. Okay, this person's going to cut out little copies of what each corner is going to represent. Different, the kids in one of my classes, they chose like Sprite, Coke, they all made up their groups. Fanta, whatever. But all the directions are there. So they actually created all the games for me, okay? So even though I was giving them the answer key, yes, that's okay, because guess what? They're still learning. They're still having to process it. And not everybody is seeing the answers to that, just that one group. So whenever we are playing the game, they're going to be the ones that are going to be the main group that's going to kind of facilitate this learning experience, okay? Because they're going to know the answers. I get that. But there's going to be lots of other games where that way each person from each group, they can help, do the main thing. Now in the other classes, since we're going to all play these games, some of the stuff, just from me seeing them, I'm going to remember and be able to help, okay? So all in a nutshell, we have this 10 days, ours is a little bit longer, but of learning where we're supposed to be playing these instructional activities from lead4ward. So now I got at the end of the class, and I gave them a major grade for this. It only took us 1 day, okay? And if we need more games, we'll do it again. I'll take another day at the end and we'll do it again, another time of the year or whatever. Not only did I print the answer keys, and I just had them highlight their answers for the particular passage that they chose. I also printed the rationale page. All of this is online, okay? I literally ran down and I printed it, this part even, it was fast, simple, easy. I had them highlight the rationalizations to those answers. Why was this one not correct? Why was this one correct? So each group had to talk about it and go through that, because they're going to be the one that's going to mainly explain it. And like I said, different classes, they're all doing different games. So, but at the end, now all of the classes will get to play all the games that were created. And one of them needed to have balls. So we literally got construction paper and just rolled up balls, and they're going to be able to throw those around. They were able to create everything we may do, okay? So just wanted to give y'all a little bit of just talking it verbally to you so you kind of wrap your head around it. I think that's about it. They need a folder, a passage. They need to choose which game, the playlist from the lead4ward playlist, which one they're doing. You have to keep a master copy and keep up with it and highlight it, so that way when the next class comes around, they don't get to choose that next game. You'll say, no, another class has already taken it, so you will get to play that game, because we're going to go through all of them. So now, everything was done on Friday. So say you want to do this, do it on Monday. Literally. Like, I changed my objective on the board. We're going to analyze and create lead4ward learning games. This was all done, it's done strategically, it's thought out. And then they had to take that game and they had to make up, they wrote the questions down on note cards. They basically didn't even have to create the game, but they still had to come up with the pieces. One of them is an actual, a board game. So we said we're going to push the chairs, and the kids are going to be the board game. They're actually going to be the moving pieces. So there's a way to make these work. There's not one of them that cannot work. So if anybody needs help with this, like I said, because I was so stressed over the blended learning, this was a way for me to solve a problem and help ease my mind. And now we had fun on Friday doing this, and I know that we're going to have fun for our 10 days of learning. I know tomorrow I'm going to start off with, we're going to go up to the board, and before we even start the games, we're going to, have a discussion on, what we've learned throughout this year, so that everything, we can get some, prior knowledge, make a connection to this, and so that way, and you can take this one step at a time. After each game, you can pause and take a moment and say, okay, now let's go over, what did we just learn? Okay, what is on the board? Say one was over poetry. Let's go to our poetry board on our tour of learning. Okay, let's add, what did we forget about? Did we forget to put, our rising action, climax, falling action, resolution? Oh, maybe we forgot about that. Let's add that to our board, whether it's on a sticky note or marker or whatever. So by the end of our learning. Sorry, I took my hand off the recording. It stopped me. All in a nutshell, what I'm saying is if any of you need help with any of this, because if I was able to do this in like 15-20 minutes, I stopped and I was like, let me go get some copies of a star release, let me get the answer key and the rationales, and then I said I'm gonna grab folders, I'm gonna grab pencils, color pencils, whatever I've got, and then we're just gonna start. We're just gonna do this together. By the end of the day, like I said, I had a ton of games to move forward for the weeks to come, and our 10 days of learning board should be filled by the end. It's just a different way for them to learn, and it's changing it up. I know it sounds crazy doing this at this time of the year, because that's kind of threw me off too. I was like, what? How am I supposed to get their attention right now at this time of the year doing this? But I heard a lot of them saying this is the best thing we've done all year. So